Welcome back to another episode of Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, Christopher is going to be talking with Kelly Gothard with the Southern Ohio Council on Governments about a new program that's going to assist individuals who have a difficult time expressing themselves. So stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, Christopher is going to be talking with Kelly Gothard, who works with the Southern Ohio Council on Governments, about a new program that will assist many individuals who have a disability. Chris, it's always a pleasure talking with you.
Always a pleasure to be here, Patrick. You know, we've been talking about technology and assistive tech that help individuals with multiple disabilities all around the United States and how technology can help them be independent. So Ohio has adopted a new program called the Envelope Program, which will help individuals throughout their community, driving, living in their homes, different places, wherever they may be. They may need some help getting the information to the first responders, letting them know that they have a disability, what they need help with. So Kelly, thank you for coming to talk about this great program that I think all over Ohio can benefit by it. And, you know, the law and first responders can be notified and understand what's going on in that situation. Tell us a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Christopher and Patrick, for having me on here today. I'm very excited to be here with you and talk about our program. As Patrick had said, I am part of the Southern Ohio Council of Governments. We are a COG that serves 13 counties in the central section of Southern Ohio. For one of the many services that we provide for our counties is an advocacy group. We have a regional advocacy group, which is made up of individuals with disabilities, their family members, and their providers. And we come together once a month and we discuss issues that need to be talked about as far as advocacy goes. We also teach our individuals how to advocate for themselves. And we often take a look at what's going on in our community and share articles about people with disabilities who have stood up for themselves, or sometimes it's about issues that need to be talked about in the news. When we were sharing articles in one of our meetings last summer, we came across an article about a Blue Envelope program. The Blue Envelope program started in San Diego, California in 2023. The program was very successful there, and over the last couple of years, it has slowly went from different communities, different states, and last summer in 2024, the program made its way to Ohio and debuted in Mahoning County. The prosecutor's office there decided to start a program just for Mahoning County. And they've been working their program for about a year. They've seen success. It's very well received by local law enforcement. We had read about their program in a newspaper article, and we decided that this was a program that all of Ohio could benefit from. So we formed a committee to look into starting our own program. Originally, we were just going to bring the program to Southern Ohio, but then when we started looking at the need and the traveling that our people in our area were doing, because Southern Ohio, it's a little more rural, many of our people travel to Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati to go to doctor's appointments or even just to visit family. So our members said they really wanted the program to go beyond the counties that we serve. So we started looking into that and what the logistics would be. And we started looking for grant money. And we were very fortunate that the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council, they saw the value in the program, and they awarded us with a grant of $35,000 to start the program and bring it to all of the state of Ohio. Program is relatively simple. The main piece of the program is a blue envelope. And this envelope gives the individual a place on the front to write information about their disability. So if they have a disability that limits their speech, or if they're unable to hear commands that might be given to them by a law enforcement officer, or say they have a disability like Tourette's syndrome or autism that might cause them to say or do things that are going to be a little abnormal, that the police officer might not be expecting, might take them off guard, or they might take what they're saying a different way or feel that it's an aggressive action. They can put any information they want that officer to have here on the front. And this is all voluntary. They can put as much or as little as they feel comfortable with here on the front of the envelope. Then they can put information that the officer would need inside the envelope, like a copy of their driver's license, their insurance card for the auto, and their vehicle registration. They can put anything that the officer is going to ask for here in the envelope. That way, it's quick and easy for them to access. So that way, if their disability is anxiety, or maybe a physical disability that affects their hand movements, they're not going to be scurrying around the car trying to gather everything up. Everything's in one place. They can keep this in their dashboard, or somewhere on the dash where it's easy to access. And then when the officer comes up to their window, it's quick and easy. They have one thing to hand to them that has all the information that that officer is going to need, information about the disability that they need to know. And then the envelope tells them that inside they're going to find other things they need, like the driver's license, insurance, and registration. Another key part of the program is a car decal. It's a 3-inch circle with an envelope in it. This decal, it doesn't say anything about a disability. It doesn't give any information about the person. It's just a little symbol to let law enforcement know that someone in this car has a disability. And when they get to the window, they'll expect to see a blue envelope. So they'll know what to expect before they even get up to the window. Because while a traffic stop is a anxious situation for any of us. Anytime anyone sees those lights and gets pulled over, they automatically feel this rush of anxiety, and because we don't know what's going to happen. Police officers, they have the same feelings, maybe not as strong as our feelings. They might not they might not have as much fear as we do at the thought of a traffic stop, but they have that fear of the unknown. They don't know what they're going to encounter when they get up to that window. This little symbol in the back window gives them a little tip of what something about this traffic stop might be a little bit different, and it lets them know that they're going to be handed one of these, which hopefully will make them feel a little easier about the traffic stop. And it also lets them know that if they do get up to the window and somebody says or does something, or someone's unusually anxious or jittery, they're going to know that it's probably because of the disability, and they'll have the information they need right here in front of them.
How is a cop going to know that that's what that means?
As the envelopes are being made available to the County Board of DDs, we are encouraging all of them to meet with their local law enforcement and do a training session about the program. Many of our Board of DD offices already have a training program where they work with law enforcement to give them de-escalation tips of how to talk to someone who has autism or anxiety or maybe hearing or vision impairments. This is just an extra tool that's going to be added to that training in those counties.
So will that work in someone's home? Maybe they don't drive,
Mhm.
They go out and walk in their community.
Mhm.
What what would the individual do to get the first responders to understand that they have an envelope there somewhere?
Well, we have many of our members of our group. They love the idea of having this in their car, but they, like you, they said, I want something that I can carry on my person and have with me at all times. Now, you could do that with the envelope, but it's a little bit big to stick in a pocket. So we developed a wallet card. It has the blue envelope symbol on the front. So any law enforcement officer who has been trained in the program is going to recognize it's the same logo that's on the decal that goes on the car. And the front of the card has that decal and some tips and information for the law enforcement officer about just general information about, I have a disability. I may exhibit signs of anxiety or nervousness. I may need additional time to formulate responses. When feasible, use clear language, commands, explanations. And you may consider calling the individual listed on this card if I appear to be in distress. Then on the back side of the card, the individual can put their own personal information. They can list their name and information about their disability, things they would want that law enforcement officer to know so they can communicate with them better. And then at the bottom, there's a place to put an emergency contact and a phone number so that if that person would become extremely upset, or if they would be injured or something would happen that they need to contact someone for help, they would have that person's name and phone number so they can contact exactly who that person wants to have there to help them. And
How about
all of these pieces are part of the packet. These packets, they're being made available for free to all County Board of DD offices all across the state. We're in the process right now of sending them out. So your office might not have them in your county just yet, but our goal is to have them in all of the counties by the end of the summer. But each of these packets contains an envelope, the decal, the wallet card, and there is a brochure that explains the program, how to use all of the tools, and gives you information and even our contact information if you wanted to call us if you have questions about the program.
That's an awesome program. Our first responders, they come up on, car accidents and other emergencies that they just, when they get there, they don't know who they're going to be facing and what's going to happen.
Right.
And when an individual may have autism, Down syndrome, or other disabilities that may have a communication barrier and also will act out, start acting out, start hitting or start throwing things because they don't understand what just happened and what's going on. So that's an envelope and program, for the home and out in the community to have, because our first responders want to help us and they want to know, do we need a mental health person to come out here with us? Do we need an interpreter to come out with us? When they get there, they see it and then they can understand what's happening. Then they can call the interpreter or maybe the mental health person. So how can the individual know that the county board in their county has this program and ready to give them an envelope and all the information?
Well, hopefully their Board of DD is sending that information out to their people. But if you have not heard from your county board that they have the program, you can contact your SSA or just call your county board and ask if they have the program available. If you're not able to get through to them, or if you have further questions about the program, or if you work at a county board and you want to get it to your people as soon as possible, you can always call me. I work here at SOCOG, and our number is 740-775-5030. And you just call, ask for me, and I'd be happy to help you get a packet sent to you.
That's awesome. What if the individual doesn't have services with the county board? but they have disabilities, things like that, that they're not connected to services. So how would they get something like that without services?
The county boards, I mean, it's up to each individual county board if they want to make it that available to them. If they're not able to get one at their county board, they could call me and I would be happy to mail one out to them. We want this envelope to be able to help anyone who needs that service.
That's awesome. So what is one positive thing that you've heard about it so far with the first responders to an individual using it?
Well, I know many of the first responders who are being trained on the program love the program and definitely see a value. A story I could share with you is I can tell you the very first family who got the very first envelope when we printed these and started making them available was a family here in town. They took 4 of the envelopes to use for their 2-year-old daughter. They took 4 envelopes so that they can have one in grandma's car, one in grandpa's car, one in mom's car, and one in dad's car. Because this little girl, she's 2 years old. She is deaf. She does have cochlear implants, but when she's riding in her car seat, she's not able to wear them because they're uncomfortable. So when they're in the car, they take the cochlears out. Their fear is if they were to have a car accident and whoever's driving, if they were knocked unconscious or were unable to communicate, they would not be able to tell first responders that she's not able to hear. And it would be very confusing for her and confusing for them if they're giving her instructions or trying to talk to her and she's not able to hear. So they wanted to have a way of telling them that she's deaf, she has implants, so that and where the implants are in the car in case they need to get them, put them on for her, or just so they're able to get her out of the car safely and understand she's not going to be able to hear any instructions. So so far it's given that family some peace of mind, and hopefully they never have to use it in an accident, but at least they've got that peace of mind knowing that first responders will have that information if it's needed.
That's awesome. What do you think about maybe getting information from the community deaf services and having a card to fit into that envelope? That way, if individuals that are deaf blind, whatever it may be, nonverbal, the first responders will know by that little card inside the envelope that they need an interpreter and know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the great part about it being an envelope. You can add whatever you want into this envelope. It would be difficult for us to have interpreters or services listed for every county because it varies by county or by region. But you can put anything you want in here. If you do have a list of services or interpreters, that would be great to put in here. There is a spot on the side for emergency contacts. So if there were family members or your SSA or someone that you wanted to have listed for them to call for help, they would have that as a resource. But I mean, there's no limit to what you could put in here for additional resources.
So if a law enforcement or any other first responder wanted to learn more about it and be able to know how to identify and what to look for, will you guys come and train them, give them feedback on how to do it?
Mm-hmm. Because of logistics, I can't travel everywhere all over Ohio, but thankfully, because of Zoom, I can meet with anyone who has questions about the program and wants to set something up for law enforcement. I'll also help them work with their local county board of DD because hopefully they all have that contact and that relationship with their local law enforcement. If they don't already have something set up, we want to encourage them to do that, and we'll be more than happy to help them.
Here in Souder County, I had the privilege to be in a meeting with the police department and talk about different technology that I use that may look like a weapon. That other communication boards, Bill Adams, he was in there with me talking about his communication board, how important it is, and what does it look like? How does it work? And when the first responders are coming, they're coming fast. They're coming
Yeah.
quickly.
Mhm.
They're not slowing down because they have that emergency that they need to get to.
Right.
And it's so amazing that the first responders, no matter who they are, can actually contact you and do a Zoom, a training on the blue envelope, and they can ask questions that they
Mhm.
may have. One time was in Columbus with my Service Dog Awareness Week event, and my sister's car wouldn't start.
Mm.
So we kept calling around and thought maybe we could call the police officers and see if they could come and help us because we were stranded on the side of the road. And so the police pulled up, looked into my sister's car, and asked, "What kind of weapon is that?" And me and her was looking around looking for a weapon because we we didn't know we had one.
Mhm.
He said, "Right there," and it was my cane folded up.
Right.
It was my
Yeah.
cane folded up. And that right there is scary because
Yeah,
when an
absolutely.
officer says, when an officer
Yeah.
says, "What weapon is that?"
Right.
It could be frightening and
Mhm.
scary. But
Absolutely.
thankfully, I knew the chief of the police, and so if anything happened, then I was able to go to her and say, "Hey, he thought my cane was a weapon." And so these decals and envelopes is going to help so much because
Mhm.
officers or first responders going to know that there might be things in the car that may not be a normal car.
Right.
It might
Mhm.
be somebody that's blind with a cane or,
Right.
or a service dog or whatever it
Mhm.
may be. It may look like a weapon and
Right.
be a threat to that.
Mhm.
But they know by the decal that they know that it's not a threat.
Right.
They can be calm and talk to the individual no matter where they are.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the whole point of the program is it's to increase communication, make communication easier, whether that's verbal communication or the visual communication of seeing a symbol, and that just gives them a little clue about what this traffic stop is going to look like.
I hear so many times that first responders show up at home. They show up at the park, parts of the community, or at an accident on the road, and they don't know what to do. They just
Mhm.
they don't know. So
Mhm.
therefore, that individual is acting out, and I for a reference, there was an autism individual that was having a breakdown, and all these law enforcement out there trying to get them to sit down, turn around, and put your hand behind your back.
Mhm.
But those law enforcement thought that they were on drugs.
You're right. Yeah, that's a common misconception often because they're not gonna. If some individuals with autism, they're not going to respond the way you think they would normally respond, and some people take that as, oh, they're just on drugs. And like I say, hopefully programs like this that has the information either on the envelope or on the card are going to take some of that those unknowns away and give law enforcement a clue of what might really be going on, and hopefully save someone with a disability from being put in a very bad or dangerous situation.
Right. Well, Kelly, thank you for all this information. Is there one positive thing that you could tell our communities all around Ohio?
If you feel that you can benefit from the Blue Envelope program, please reach out to your local developmental disabilities board. Ask for the envelope, and please use the envelope. I would also love to hear feedback from people who are using the envelope. If you go and you pick up an envelope, you use it in your car, if you see ways that we could make the program better, or if there's things that you really, really love about the program and you want us to know so that we keep the program and keep it going, please scan the QR code that's on the back of the brochure in the packet, and that will allow you to give me feedback of what you think about the program. And like I say, tell me what you like about it. Tell me what you don't like about it. We want honest opinions and want to know how you feel this program works, and because we want it to work as best as it can for all of you. And we can't do that without feedback from the community.
And I would love to hear back from the first responders how they like it.
But yes, I plan to email first responders once we get the program going and get some feedback from them as well, because I am hoping it helps them as much as it helps our individuals.
Correct.
So you're with the Southern Ohio Council of Governments. What's the whole purpose and the mission of SOCOG?
Our mission is to serve the counties in our region. We currently serve 13 counties, and we provide a variety of services for them. The advocacy group is just one small part of what we do. We also investigate allegations of abuse or fraud or mistreatment of individuals with disabilities. We also provide trainings and services for independent providers. We also provide services to the county boards. We manage grants for them and help them employ people for services that they need that in many cases they share. Like if they each have a need for a service, we will help them with obtaining grants, training people, employing people, and getting those services out to the people they serve.
This is Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today's guest is Callie Gothard. She is with the Southern Ohio Council on Governments, and you can find her website at SOCOG.org. Callie, it's always a pleasure having you come on, and a great program that you have going.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you for having me here today. I'm happy to get to talk about the program.
Thank you, Chris.